my name is Jennifer from Watkins Through Life. I am a bookaholic, and at the time of this recording, it has been 2 days since my last book. I've seen a couple booktubers do a mid-year freakout book tag. Basically, there's a few questions that you're going to choose a book to match as a kind of journal update for years going forward. The first one, I just refuse. It says best book of 2021. I just can't do it. I can't choose best ones or worst ones. It's just too overwhelming for me, so pass on that. The next one is the best sequel you've read so far in 2021. I've read 2 so far, and by far my favorite of the 2 sequels I've read is The Beautifully Foolish Endeavor by Hank Green. I like how he transformed my frustration with the characters into just an undying love for them. And somehow he managed to give me a warm and fuzzy feeling about humanity, which is difficult with the current state of affairs. Alright, so the next one is new release that I have been looking forward to but haven't read yet. And for this one, I'm not sure if it still counts as a new release, but Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. It's one of those books that I've wanted to read so bad since it came out, but requires so much of a time investment and an emotional investment that I've just been waiting until I have like a couple weeks blank slate to get going on it. My most anticipated release. I am absolutely terrible at keeping track of what books are coming out or looking up new books that are coming out that aren't part of a series or anything. It's just one of my weaknesses as a book reader. So I'm going to use the third Name of the Wind book because we're all waiting for it. We all know we need it, but don't have a release date on that one yet. My biggest disappointment, I don't even have the book here with me because it's disappeared. I probably already donated it or trashed it or something, but it's The New Policeman by Kate Thompson. I was really disappointed with how the main character was written. They were almost infantilized as their actions and their choices, their decisions were described in wildly different ways from the age that they were supposed to be. As someone who works with kids, poorly written kids is a big pet peeve of mine in books. My biggest surprise of the year was False Prince by Jennifer Nielsen. I had read this book in middle school, high school, long time ago. It is just wonderfully simple, and I immediately went out and bought the next book in the series for me to read. My favorite new author is not actually a new author, it's just new to me. I never really read Captain Underpants books growing up, but Dave Pilkey has this new series called Dogman, and I recently discovered him. He has just such a lighthearted, fun way of telling stories that I am very much enjoying. And for my fictional crush, I haven't really read a lot of books this year with likable characters, or at least not ones that I would be interested in that are my type. So I'm gonna go with Dogman, because I love dogs. My newest favorite character of 2021, I don't know that they count as characters, but I loved the Romanoff family. I read The Family Romanoff by Candace Fleming, and I am just so entranced by their lives. Mostly because their lives are so fantastical. The places they lived, the places they went, what they wore, all of those things are incredible inspiration for fictional settings like my D&D campaign. Does that count for my favorite characters? Does it answer the question? We're gonna go with yes. A book that made me cry this year. The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I just fought tears for the whole last 3 or 4 chapters. It was so well written, has you laughing, has you crying, has you totally invested in the character, and the ending is such a great payoff. Tears. A book that made me happy this year. I haven't finished this book because my husband and I have been reading it out loud to each other, but The Princess Bride by William Goldman. By far the funniest, happiest book I have ever read. I have never laughed so hard while reading a book. What makes it even funnier is that because we're reading it out loud to each other, sometimes we'll get to a section that is so hilarious that we're trying to read it out loud, but we can't because we're laughing so hard. And that makes the punchlines even better. It is so good, so well written, just a masterpiece. Princess Bride by William Goldman. If you haven't read it yet and you need to feel happy, go pick it up. The most beautiful book that I've gotten this year? Dragons Love Tacos. I mean, yeah, I could do a more serious book, but look at it! It's so pretty! The last one on this is tricky. It's what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And it's tricky because I've set myself a Goodreads goal of 50 books, but I've been reading a lot of my children's books as well, weeding out like what I want in my library for when I have kids and what I don't want. And so I've been reading through a lot of those, but I don't necessarily think that a Dr. Seuss book counts as a book towards my reading challenge. So it's kind of skewed my numbers. At the time that I'm recording this, with kids' books, I've read 34 out of 50 books, and I only need 16 more. But without the kids' books, I've read 16 out of 50 books and need to read 34 more. So I don't even know how to track it this year. I think I'm just going to kind of read, enjoy the journey, and address the issue in December. That is my mid-year book freakout tag. I think it's been a great way to reflect on the bests and the worsts and the happiest and funniest of the year. And I look forward to looking back on this in years to come. Bye!